What is up, guys? Jake from One Hive here with our next cleanup video. This one's going to be on a couple of hog attacks, and honestly, I was surprised at the outcome of these attacks when I first saw Biggs here plan and his strategy that he put forward to it. I would think perfect. This is going to work out. This base had double bombs in the core, like this and this. So obviously, the logical thinking would be to get those golems in the core with the heroes, get those bombs triggered, and then you have an easy time just sort of surgical on the outside. But somehow it just didn't pan out that way. He started out, he did an over and just sent a golem in right here and backed it up with some wizards. Now that was smart, because if he had dropped all of his golems, that had just clumped up on that cannon. Once the cannon went down, he dropped another golem, broke some wall breakers right here. Obviously put some wizards, out here to create his funnel, clear all those trash buildings out of the way, and had a nice jump spell for right here. So everything's going great. CC troops come out. He drops his rage for them. King and queen go in, and even holds back a golem sort of, so they all don't get splashed from that from the CC troops. But he even had two witches to send in there. Just had a lot of tanking. You think they would get into that core very easily, but a couple of Teslas pop right here, and it just, his golems did take quite a bit of damage from the CC troops, and by the time it was all over, the core did not get taken out. Okay, so to invest that much troop space in there, you have to get more. Basically what he took out was, actually I think it went a little bit further than that. And I think it's about right. I think what he took out was basically this. And that's just not enough for 3 golems, 2 witches, and a kill squad with 2 spells. That's not going to get it done. So he just didn't have enough hogs on the backside. He started trying to sprinkle in a few hogs just to get a few easy buildings taken out. But when he finally started his attack, he sent some hogs in here, dropped a jump, and tried to bring some hogs in from the top here. They petered out pretty quickly. They ended up over in here somewhere and come across in the last few. Died to that bomb that never even got triggered. Again, with high-level heroes, 3 golems, the witches, I would have thought they would have really gotten to that core, but it just didn't happen. Too much damage coming at the golems. They died. Witches died too quickly. Just didn't pan out. So let's watch Big do it, because it was not a bad attack and it was not a bad plan. But let's watch him do it, and we can see some of the mistakes that were made. Okay, here Big comes with the attack, just dropping that golem right in front of that cannon. And again, very smart not to just dump his golems. Even if he spread them there, they would have clumped up on him. Drops a few wizards behind it, and as soon as that cannon goes down, then he's able to go ahead and send in his next golems. And that golem's not taking a lot of damage there anyways. You see how little damage he's taken. Right there, it's down. Second golem's going in, going to do a little bit more tanking, allow him to do that funnel creation. And then I guess right here, the queen maybe should have went down sooner, because this golem right here is going to get wrecked. He drops the witches and the rage, and some of the skeletons do go in there, and the queen gets locked on. But right there, he pretty much has lost. I guess he pretty much had lost both of his golems there, so that's not good. When you put those golems out like that, you've got to have something to take out those DPS troops very quickly. So that was probably a big part of the non-success of this attack. You see he's already starting to sprinkle in some balloons and a few hogs to take out a few side defenses there. And the king gets in there, starts doing some damage. The queen's back here backing him up, but they just don't get, had he got those 3 golems in there, that whole core would have been wrecked. The king would have been taking stuff out. The queen would have stood back and done her thing. But it just doesn't happen. One set of double bombs do get triggered. You see he's starting to send in his hogs here. That one cannon out there with that giant there, or excuse me, with that king there, really causing some problems, delaying those hogs getting into that heal, and then comes in from the top of what he's got left in his other heal spell. Now the queen still got her ability, but she's down here working on walls like she likes to do. Right there, the last heal spell to keep the hogs that he has up, but losing several to spring traps in the core. Just the bottom line, not enough hogs, not enough return for, this goes really well with that video that we just did on how many golems to bring. Just not enough return on those golems. And I think possibly, as you'll see in the cleanup attack, not doing the lure on such a, it's a pretty easy lure actually. Take out one defense, you get it out pretty quickly. Not doing that and losing those 2 golems so quickly was pretty much the story. Had he got those 3 golems into the core with, most of their health, I think this would have been a different outcome. So we'll fast forward as the queen walks around, does her thing, take out what she can, pretty much wrecks the base. There's not a lot left, just sort of out of troops, out of time. Doesn't get it done. So nice try to big. Let's go back to the drawing board and see how this was corrected. All right, Hold My Beer is who got the cleanup on this one, and he just came at it from a little different perspective, a little different angle, and it made all the difference in the world. You see that he only brought the one golem that was in the CC, did not bring three, and he's going to actually get much more out of that one golem than Big did out of three. So pretty impressive the way he did it. He decides to do a lure, just sends a few hogs in here, takes this out, and once they get into range, brings the CC troops over to the side, normal kill squad stuff, witches, wizards, and the queen. And surprisingly, he actually does lose both of his witches on the kill. So would have been even better had he not, but he does have this mortar shooting in on some skeletons, and I believe the crash of the balloon might have taken them out. I'm not sure. We'll watch on that. But once he gets that going, sends a golem in, a wall breaker to get this opened up, obviously a jump spell to let everything in. Now, what was interesting about this attack to me, if you look back at Big's attack, when he placed the jump spell here, once the queen got to this point, she got in this moat and just started walking around because she could access all of these different defensive structures there. So never really got deep into the core, but the angle that Hold My Beer took, she can't do that. She has to go into the core. He placed it nicely where she can't even get into this compartment. She could walk over here into this, but she's basically going into the core and backing up the king and the golem and all that. Now, the one risk he had here was that the golem would get into this compartment and then just walk up this direction and stay out of the core. But very wisely and very quickly, once he got everything in here and the king, funneled in and the queen was sort of committed to them, he immediately started sending in his surgical hogs, taking out these defenses that would cause that golem to stray. What that does is lets his golem go straight into the core. At this point, not a lot of DPS coming his way. The Teslas do pop. Obviously, they're causing some trouble, but the king's right in behind him, uses the king's ability, and then, as I said, the queen comes in and starts backing up those two immediately. So she didn't stray. She didn't, start walking around the base sort of like on Biggs. So a better angle, basically, is the story that he came in at, and he pretty much wrecks this entire core with one golem, no witches left over, and just the king and queen. So just being much more effective use of that golem that he brought, and again, probably coming at a much better angle to ensure everything funnels straight in there. Just worked his way around the base with surgical hogs and ended up with several. So because he did what Big tried to do with one golem, obviously he got to bring a lot more hogs, 29 hogs there. Did use a few on the lure, but pretty much had hogs for all the way around the base, just drop his heels and absolutely wrecked it. So let's watch Hold My Beer do it, and then we will call this thing done. Okay, here we go with Hold My Beer's attack, sending in just those, I think, 3 or 4 hogs here on the cannon. Going to take it out. Oh, drops a giant first. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Drops a giant for it. Then just sends those hogs in. Cannon goes down really quickly. And then right there, even though he's right in front of that queen, with what was in the CC, it all came out very fast. So no problem getting everything emptied out. Drops his distraction troops, his witches, his queen. And again, I'm sort of surprised. I guess it was just a little bit crowded. You'd be surprised how much of a difference a crowd like that makes, because even a few shots from different troops on buildings rather than defensive troops can let those troops start moving in a little closer. And I think right here you'll see actually some of those skeletons just got in there. Yeah, just kind of got overran. Surprised on that because he had a normal kill squad, but got the job done right there. The witch goes down. The wall breakers go in. He's got the funnel being created. Golem's out there doing a little bit of tanking. And then right here, the king goes in. Everything's going great. And you'll see how quickly he starts in with his hogs here, what I was talking about. Drops that jump spell. The king's already engaged on the queen. Right here, boom, hogs going down, keeping that golem from straying on him. He's forcing it into the core. You can see the golem's already making the move up there. But right there, everything starts to go down. It reroutes back into the core. The king's out front doing a little bit of tanking, but he has his ability, hasn't used it yet, so heals that up. Those barbs start getting in there. The hogs are already making their way into the core. Got a heal spell for those, so that helps. But look how much more effective that was. How many more hogs he's got left. He's still deploying his hogs around the outside, sort of surgical on the base. and all the bombs are triggered at this point, and he still has a heal spell left. So you see the Hawks all starting to converge here, getting on those last few defenses. He's got a nice heal spell from over the last little bit that's there. And the Queen's still up, has a wizard he can drop in a CC. He's starting to let them work around the base. Just a beautiful attack, you know. It made all the difference in the world how much more efficient he was with his kill squad, moving into that core, and how much more he got out of them. Finally, that defensive king, level 20, took out everything in the core, but the damage was done. He's got a lot of hogs left. He's got these wizards working their way around the base, so not going to be any problem. I thought this sort of cleanup attack went well with the how-to, or excuse me, the theorycraft video we just put out about, you know, how many golems to bring. Sometimes less is more, just like in a situation like this. You know, the three golems, it sort of looked right, it sort of felt right, but in hindsight, it just wasn't. You could get the job done with less, and when you can do that and have more hogs for more defenses and more cleanup, sometimes it is better. So excellent attack, hold my beer. Good try to big. Hope you guys liked the video. Until next time, Jake from One Hive reminding you all to suck less.